Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is being recorded on Diwali night, so if there is some banging in the background, you know where it is coming from. I can't do anything about it. It's my neighbors, as well as my neighbors' neighbors, and the entire town, basically. So, the thing that I wanted to talk about was a certain thing that we think about misinformation no longer being true, and something else that has taken its place about which we don't often talk very much. So, when we think of totalitarian rule, we often think about how someone is preventing the truth from reaching us, or we think of how someone is replacing the truth with lies. We think about how important information that we should know as an electorate to be able to make informed decisions, that important information is not reaching us, and instead what we are getting is propaganda and lies, and as a result of it our decisions are being affected by falsehood instead of the truth as they should be. We think of propaganda as someone not wanting us to know what is true and then telling us something else that is not true, that serves their own selfish political purposes, so that the power hungry may retain power, and the ones who have given them the power will never come to the conclusion that maybe they should not have the power. That is how it has worked till now. We live right now, I think, in an age of meaninglessness. And this has multiple meanings, pardon the pun, it has multiple meanings. And the most clear example of it that I can give you is that our problem right now is not that we don't have information, we don't have the facts. That is not our problem. Our problem is that we have too many facts. We have too many versions of the same incident. We have too many claims about the same events. So, even if the truth is among them somewhere, we will not be able to tell that it is there. It's like one of those fantasy things, right? You go and try to kill the evil sorcerer, but the evil sorcerer does some evil magic, and now there are 10 evil sorcerers in front of you. Which one are you going to kill? Or you have to rescue a friend from the evil sorcerer, but the evil sorcerer has created 20 versions of your friend. Which one are you going to rescue? In the amount of time that it takes to decide which one is the real one, the deed is done. The time is lost, and the occasion that was at your disposal where you could have done something, you can no longer do it. So, the age of meaninglessness is, I think, this only, where we have a need for meaning, and it is not as if people are stopping meaning from coming to us. But what they are doing instead is that they are giving us so many different meanings that the one accurate answer, if there is such a thing in any given context, it differs from context to context, of course. When it comes to facts and reality, there is usually one answer. But when it comes to interpretation, there can be many. I'm talking about facts here. We have gotten to a point where when someone tells us that uh, when someone is in power and we need information from them, we are at a point where they don't have to say no. They don't have to say, no, I will not tell you the truth. No, I will not give you the information. What they do instead is, oh, you want information? Here, take all of this. And now it is your job to sift through all of that and find out the truth. We have heard accounts from fact checkers like Alt News where they have said that there is so much of misinformation that it is practically impossible to go through all of it and debunk all of it and correct all of it. And this is, I think, the defining characteristic of our age of meaninglessness. Because in order to hide any one fact, you need 20 false facts. You need 30 things that kind of sort of look like they are the real thing, but they're not. I mean, it's not a bizarre alternative to the reality. It's a slightly altered version, a half truth, a half lie of some sort that will that you will find a little difficult to say that's not true. You will look at it and you will say, I can't really tell. And in that confusion, the amount of time that the person misinforming you needs is gone. And of course, then there is the other matter of the entire purpose behind these multiple meanings and these multiple choice answers is to confuse you. Because suppose there are five important things you need to know, and now you are in a sea of 25,000 lies, out of which you have to find these five things. By the time you have found the true answer, there are 50,000 more answers waiting for you about something else. So, unless you make it your full time job to find meaning in this age of meaninglessness, there is a very close to zero chance of you ever making any progress. I mention this, of course, because I'm writing a story right now which kind of sort of delves into these topics. It's a sequel to a science fiction story I wrote earlier, which hopefully will become part of that same story and will become a bigger story. But the situation that I'm dealing with is that ever since the information superhighway came into being, we are no longer a society that is starved of information. I mean, think about all the glorious dreams we had from mass media. Think of all the things we hoped and dreamed of when information came to be at our proverbial fingertips. We can now find out what is happening in the other corner of the world, the opposite side of the world. There is no information that we cannot access in a matter of seconds. And look at look at the path that dream took before becoming the nightmare that it is right now. You open your phone, you search for a bit of information, and 50% of the times, you're not sure if what you have is the right answer. Because instead of becoming the source of the right answer or the source of the fact, our multimedia devices, our mobile devices, are right now more a source of confusion than they are of answers. To such a great extent has this problem grown that chatbots like ChatGPT and Claude, etc., have disclaimers at the bottom saying, we may be giving you the wrong answer. Not only because there are too many answers to choose from for them, but they have been built in a way that they will hallucinate, that they will very likely give you a slightly altered version of the fact that is not really false, but it is far away enough from what you were looking for to be confusing. There are other issues obviously at play also here, and I will try to touch upon them a little bit. But by and large, I hope you're getting my point. I was looking at an AI art generator and I was trying to generate some art. It gets a lot of things wrong, and there is no meaning behind it. There is no mind behind it, obviously. It is a sum total, it is the sum total of all the images that it has ever seen, and it recognizes patterns and rebuilds them. So if I tell it that make me a fantasy portal that is leading to the future, it can do a half decent job. But I began to wonder if it was the art generator tool that was doing the job or my imagination. Am I finding what I need to find in it because it is close enough to what I was looking for, even if it is not quite there? Something to think about this weekend. And I will leave it at that. I would like you all to know that the best way to support this podcast is patreon.com/Vimo, where you can go and become a member in order to get early access episodes. This episode, I think, is not going to be early access because it is getting recorded tonight and it's going to go up tomorrow morning. But usually, whenever I recorded an episode, I upload it to Patreon first, to the listener category of supporters, and later on it goes on the Substack and your Spotify playlists, and it shows up in your Spotify playlists. So thank you for supporting this podcast. You should also know that I have stopped using Instagram completely now. Today was the last day of it. So that is also there. I will probably try to make an episode about it, although I don't know what else I'm going to say that I have already not said. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.